It is podcast day. Welcome to the Scoop Weddings Unveiled. I am Tim Schaus, your premier DJ with TLS Entertainment, with, of course, the beautiful and wonderful Brandy Harlan, your non-retired wedding planner.
Hi.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I'm planning a wedding. So
You're planning somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
You're a wedding. Yeah.
Yes. Planning someone's.
You are a wedding planner.
I am that. I can't help it.
No, and you know what? People need you, and they need your services because, I mean, let's face it, you're good at what you do.
Oh, thanks.
And, yeah.
Well, I'm getting a little bit yeah, I'm definitely getting like the fiending. I don't know if you want to call it fiending or what, but helping plan the bachelorette party for the wedding that I'm planning and in. On my way here, I was like, okay, so what's the itinerary? What are we doing on Thursday?
Yeah, that's
what are we doing on Friday?
that planning mentality.
I think when we get there, I'm going to have like a grocery order waiting so I can make all the charcuteries. So you guys take her out for drinks and like all the things, right? I was like, sorry.
Do you watch Friends?
Planner brain is,
Do you watch Friends?
I haven't in a while.
No. Okay. Well, I was going to say like Monica from Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I was like, is there an itinerary? I was like, can I make a sign that says like what the itinerary is? She goes, we only have things planned for Friday and Saturday night. And I was like, okay, well, here's like 7 bars and rooftop places and places for brunch and all the things that we need. What room is she in? So I know what to decorate. Can you send me pictures so I know where to put the decorations? She's like, oh, this is why you were gifted this role. She's like, you really want pictures of the rooms? I was like, yeah, so I can plan like if I have enough decor.
Sure.
I don't want to have to run out and get anything. So
that's fair.
It's going to be fun.
Sweet.
And I just ordered the X-rated cookies.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Dunkaroo style buttercream for dunking.
Do you remember Dunkaroos?
Yeah. So I ordered.
Holy cow.
Yeah, from Tara. So she does Dunkaroos, but she also does Aroos.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said, you want the mini, like, to go packs, or you want the large and in charge? I said,
Large and in charge.
I said, I want the large in charge, and she does not discriminate on size and color, so go for it. And then she's sending the buttercream for dipping. It's great.
Okay. It sounds fun.
It's going to be a blast.
That is
in Savannah.
It's going to be something.
Yeah, we leave a week from Thursday.
Yay.
So I'm super excited.
Okay. Any more bookings at the retreat?
I'm so excited. We have our first wedding booked for March.
Yay.
And then we have like a lot of corporate
But that was
stuff.
before you were there, correct?
They just hadn't booked. Like they said they were getting married there. They're related to somebody that works there, but it was never like cash in hand.
Okay.
So cash in hand.
Yay,
it's
so
on
it's
the books.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Solidified.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And I think I may have also booked an engagement party, so I'm waiting to hear back from them this week. It's actually one of the owners to Siesta Key Rum. So I think we should have him on the show because they do tours.
Yes, they do.
And I'm like, I'm so there for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they, by the way, have all natural ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else does. But they can't advertise that they have natural ingredients. The government says that it makes them have
an upper hand.
An upper hand. He's like, so we can't be truthful, but everybody else can lie.
What?
And say that they have natural or organic ingredients. Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
No, it's not. But that's what he said.
No, I don't like.
No, that's what we had this conversation yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite crazy. He's like, yeah, we're not allowed to put that on our ingredients. He goes, we actually had to have our own machinery built to basically sustain like the flavoring and to properly put the right flavorings in because it is natural flavorings and they're not just dumping in like 2 ounces of whatever and then patent those machines.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just because you want to do things the natural way.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I love their rum, so.
Okay. And their rum is very good. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Now, are you guys getting any inquiries or leads for?
I'm
how's that
getting a
coming?
lot.
Okay.
Like baby showers have been popular. Weddings, I've been talking about that. A lot of corporate stuff is coming through. So working on hopefully a fashion show for April.
What kind
and
of
then
like a regular?
Lily Pulitzer Foundation.
Ooh.
Yeah. and I have a big idea to like, you have to come out, by the way.
I do.
But if you go out the front door of the retreat center, we've got a circle driveway. So I'm thinking of taking the catwalk straight out the front door and then making a T, and there's a tree that sits in the middle of the roundabout, and tying like really colorful ribbons on the tree so that the models come straight out of the indoors to the catwalk, and then surrounding the areas are overhanging areas where we could do little high top cocktail tables, and then we can do low top cocktail tables in the roundabout too, so everybody can see the fashion show.
Okay.
Like out front with a pond.
That sounds amazing.
You have to come out so you can really picture it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to see actual photos or pictures. Like, oh,
he
that's
hasn't
what
come out to see me.
I do not have a visual mind. I had to see it.
But also you haven't come to see me.
Well, that's true.
It's okay. You'll be out soon enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody about your services. So
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what's up with you? What's new, Magoo?
No, I mean, not much really. It's summertime.
So you're doing things that you've never really done before.
Well, no, it just, I mean, it's calmed down as far as weddings and everything. I did have, I had a retirement party this past weekend.
Oh yeah, I saw the videos.
Retirement party
What
at the
age was
Grove.
that?
I mean, it was a retirement party. He was
Like 60?
retired, probably.
70?
Yeah, but they were fun.
They were fun.
I will
I could
say,
just tell by the music.
it was heavy 80s, like rock and roll.
You shook me all night long.
Yeah, classic rock.
Yeah.
But it, and they loved country, so they know me from White Buffalo when I used to teach lessons there, and so there was a lot of people from my White Buffalo days there. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" And I was like, "Hey, it's me."
It's me.
And but it was a surprise party.
Oh.
For yes, the husband put it together.
Oh.
It was for his wife. And so basically it was at the Grove, and there was about 60, 70 guests. It was really nicely done.
Yeah, it looked nice.
Yeah. And so what was happening, they were going around looking at venues, quote unquote, looking at venues. And so
Oh, for a party?
for a party, I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good angle.
Yeah.
Let's go
so
check out some
yeah,
venues
and
for
so
the retirement party.
Yeah, and they said to, her name is Sherry. They said to Sherry, we're going to go to the Grove. There's actually an event going on there today, so you can kind of get the idea of the ballroom, what it looks like, and so forth. But I had all the music off, and as the door opened, I put on "Here for the Party" by Gretchen Wilson, because she's a big country music fan, and she loves line dancing. It's a fun line dance. Yeah. And she walked in, and everybody's like, "Surprise!" And she just like looked. She was like, "Wait a minute!" Like she just looked. She looked shocked. But I don't think she knew what was going on, and she was kind of looking around. She had there was zero reaction from her.
Oh.
It was like anticlimactic.
Everybody's like, "Oh, this is."
And so I got on the mic. I was like, "Surprise! It's your surprise retirement
Like, let
party."
me say it again,
Yeah.
just in case.
And she was just looking around, and her husband Kurt went up to her and started talking to her ear, and it looked like he was like. I don't know. It was so strange.
Oh gosh.
I felt bad.
Oh no.
Because Kurt, the husband, put so much effort into this.
And then he got subpar reaction.
Yeah, zero reaction. And she just went to people, and she was just like, "Hi." And I don't know what she was saying to them, but it was just visually she did not seem
thrilled that he
thrilled.
did that?
Yeah.
Aww,
but it looked like she had a good
great
time.
Angle.
Yeah, I know. It looked like overall I feel like she had a great time.
Yeah.
She was line dancing. I taught a line dance, just like the old days, and
maybe they should have started with drinks and dinner or drinks.
They should have given her some drinks.
They should have said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to be there a little early. Let's go have a drink at the bar first." Just if he knows her in that way to get her to loosen up a little bit.
I don't know but even at the end of the night, you could tell she, I don't know. I don't think she's very much of an extrovert. So maybe that is why. And even towards the end of the night, she said she was super happy and surprised.
Yeah, of course.
And I even talked to Kurt as it happened. I was like, is she okay? She looked shocked, and he was like, yeah, she's super shocked. Because I guess they had friends and family and everything. And,
yeah.
but overall, it was good. And then that was Saturday. Friday, I was supposed to be at Molly's, but I had Natasha, DJ Keza, DJ for me there.
And then you golfed.
And then I golfed. Yeah, that's my little thing.
And how did you do?
I did okay.
Okay, what's okay? What was par?
It doesn't matter. I went golfing. I lost only a few balls, and that's what matters most. So we're going off of how many balls I've lost. That's how we see like how well I'm progressing.
So I was like watching your stories, and I was like, wow, at first I was like, I could go golfing with him. And then I saw your form, and I was like, I can't go golfing with him. Like,
why?
Because I would absolutely be terrible.
Oh, well.
But now since we're judging on how many balls did you lose.
Well,
I could probably drive the cart perfectly fine.
Oh, you could drive the cart.
Best ball. I could just play best ball.
Oh,
with
so you'd
you.
be playing with never mind. I'm not going to say it. Brandy's red. You're playing with golf balls.
Not the lost ones either.
No. But anyway, yeah, so golf has been going well.
If they've never seen me turn red.
No.
I mean, I think I have probably turned red before, but oh geez. So let me know when you're going golfing again.
I you know what? This
Just
summer
fun afternoon.
This summer I'll be going a lot.
Okay.
And let's see here. I've got a couple events. I've got a regular party coming up in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I have just a ceremony only. I'm doing sound out on the beach.
Oh.
It's okay.
August?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I know. It's gonna be it's from 6:30 to 8:30.
Okay. That
literally
helps.
It's a very condensed setup. I'm literally setting up sound. I have my battery, my mobile just like I don't have a generator. I just have like a mobile battery that I bring out.
Yeah.
Jackery batteries.
Yeah.
Are amazing. So if it's DJs, anybody who needs like an extension of a battery, doesn't want a generator. Jackery batteries are amazing. They don't.
I should get those for baseball because you know how like I need to bring out fans in the summer, and they're constantly just running out of battery.
Yeah. So look up Jackery. You can get them on Amazon.
Okay.
They're called Jackery. Jackery.
Yeah.
And they are expensive.
But here's the thing.
But they're worth it.
If I'm going to sit out of the baseball field for 3-4 months out of the year and sweat like it's the devil's armpit, because that's where we live, it's worth it.
Yeah. The paradise.
I just sit out there and die. Like
it's hot.
Even though I have a tent and all that, like you don't know what dugout you're going to be at. The breeze could be, it's just.
We digress.
Fun. Yeah.
But yeah, so I have a ceremony only. They're not doing anything
only.
Other than that. So I was like, yeah, I can come out there for a couple of hours. So that's, and then August, gosh, I don't really think I have anything in August, which is amazing. I'm just going to be at Molly's.
Yeah.
DJing downtown. And it was really cool. I was at Spanish Point. I told you that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I said that in the last podcast. I was DJing at Spanish Point.
How was it?
The Point, Evie's it was good. I mean, the views are amazing.
Yeah.
And again, it's a cool little restaurant right on the water, beautiful sunset. And actually, I put on social media like, hey, for my upcoming brides, if you can't actually come to weddings to see us, but if you want to see us, bless you. If you want to see us, DJing in action, come out. So actually, a couple of my couples come out, and yeah, it was cool.
You have to let me know when you're out at Molly's and the Point again. I want to come out.
Okay.
And see.
In a couple weeks, I'll be at Molly's again on a Friday.
Well, we are planning a wedding together. I mean, we're doing a wedding together end of October. The one that I'm planning. You're DJing. Yeah. How many times have I reminded you?
You've literally reached out to me so many times. And I have not, for some reason, gotten back to you on that. Hopefully I still have it available.
You better not be booked. It's you specifically.
What's the date?
I just said October 28th.
Oh, shoot.
You better not have. You have been specially requested, and I have promised you.
October 28th.
You are my dowry that I am presenting.
All right, 1 second. While I look this up, we're going to go ahead into our...
Yeah.
We have a special guest here today, don't we?
We do. We're so excited.
All right, so while I look this up, make sure that I'm available.
That he's not in trouble.
Take it away, Brandy.
I would love to introduce you to Josh from Noah Gray Music. And so I think we just kind of met by you just showing up. Like, hey, come. I want to come see what you're doing at Resilient Retreat in the Retreat Sarasota. I think it started on socials, though. Yeah.
So it did, but this was before I realized I already had known you. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, tell that story.
Yeah. So, and I had no idea that
don't
until
look
I
at me
walked
like
in.
that.
Yeah. So I did a wedding at the Bishop Museum.
Yeah.
And you were there.
Yes.
And you were really nice, and I had a really great experience there. Yeah.
I'm very nice.
You were nice. At least to me.
I mean, I just make people follow rules, and they don't like that. But
oh, yeah, you know what's? Never mind. There was a vendor that said that she didn't think you liked her.
Ooh. Let's stir the tea. Nobody listens to this podcast anyway.
She's being really nice to me.
Just tell me what area their expertise is in.
Photography. She didn't say it wasn't like anything bad. She's just like I don't know. I don't think she likes me that much. And I'm like, really? She's so nice to me.
All right, so female. Is she in the Sarasota area? Is she in Tampa?
See how quickly
but here's the funny thing is I don't really like...
You don't like photographers, yeah.
I don't really interact with them.
No, but you weren't doing it. You were just... Hearing you say that, you just follow the rules. I mean, we had the manatees that we had to look out for.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
may have been like having them drink out in the middle of the courtyard while we're still open during the hours, and I saw her or something. It could have been anything.
Yeah,
but
no, it was a good
being
wedding.
the rule enforcer is never fun.
Yeah, no, it was a good wedding, and it was great to meet you there, and we had a good time, and you were very friendly to me, and I enjoyed my experience there.
What are your thoughts on the music
issue?
The issue with decibels.
I didn't think it was, it's challenging whenever you have to, because as a DJ, and I was DJing that night, it wasn't the band.
Which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah, sometimes you're behind the speakers,
yeah.
and, as the party progresses, you start to
crank it up.
Yeah,
it's time to go.
You're like,
but I think you only had checked in with me like once or twice. You're like, keep an eye on the music, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, I know at a place like that, it's not like you're like, oh my god, the music's too loud for me personally. I understand that there's manatees there, and we have to be aware of that. So,
and I could always tell, like if I was in my office, I could tell when things were a little too loud, Tim. And I would have to come down.
What are you talking about?
The one wedding you did I kind of let you slide.
Was that me and Carlos?
Yeah, I let you slide.
Oh. Well, Carlos that was his last one.
I let you slide.
So what exactly is it about the manatees and the vibration that like...
Okay, so I am not an expert, nor do I claim to know, but this is what I've been told. I've been told that it's actually not the lights that bother them as much as the vibrations that go through the glass.
Now, when you say bother them, what do you mean?
Like they're trying to sleep.
Check in and like, hey, like...
I know, right? They're like, hey, can you quiet down over there? No, they don't do that. But
they're in rehab for one.
They're in rehab. But see, what
I know about.
What I've learned is I watch their body language. Actually, so if they're doing barrel rolls or they're just not settled at the bottom of the pool, then I know they're agitated and I know they're not doing well. So when I see them barrel roll, like people will go up with their phones and turn their flash on to take photos of them when we've turned the lights off. And it's like, no, please don't do that. Like they're sleeping. So what happens when a manatee goes to sleep, half their brain shuts off and half their brain stays so that they have consciousness to float to the top, get their air and come back down. But they can stay down for 20, 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes it just depends. So when they're constantly having those vibrations and they're laying on the bottom of the pool and it's that speaker vibration, that bass typically, that causes them to like not understand. And when they're so new to the pool and they just got there, they've been in like a quiet environment, like they were at Moat or they were at Zoo Tampa. There weren't events, there wasn't a lot of music happening, and they didn't experience that out in the wild. Even though people are like, well, what about boats and all of that? Okay, yeah, boats. But these are like infants really kind of coming in at like 40 to 70 pounds, sometimes 100 pounds. So they're still infants at that stage. So they didn't experience all of that. All we know is they were orphaned. And so here they are. So they don't understand that. So to have that kind of in their world is obtrusive at the end of the day. So it is an issue. It is a problem. Animal care over there is doing an amazing job. And they're always, trying to figure out ways to help contour that and make it better. I've suggested like curtains or screens or even like foam that kind of gets inserted over the glass to help keep the vibrations out. But
you seem to know a lot about them.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I really tried really hard when I was there to know, like, their mannerisms and why they're doing certain things and understand them, so that I had better language to tell other people as to why I have to enforce this rule. Like, it's not me; it's another department that I have to make sure that, because I have to work with them, right? I have to like play nice day to day. Like, we have to have an agreement and an understanding of how our departments cross. However, on my side, it's that side was bringing in a lot of income to help support the museum. So it's kind of a give and take, but the manatees are definitely there's not that many. So having those infants,
they are endangered, yes.
Yeah, to be able to put them back out and then and safely is important. Yeah.
I would say you did a great job managing the fun of the party, the communication with the vendors, your relationship with the other side of the museum that you have to worry about, and the safety of the manatees.
I appreciate that.
I had a pleasant experience there.
I'm glad.
So
nice.
Anyway,
so then he walks in my office. He's like, "I know you." I was like, "I know you."
And it took us a second to figure it out.
Like,
but
where?
So basically, the retreat had opened up. I live about
5 minutes.
Yeah, not like a mile and a half down Fruitville, east near Verna Road. And I'd always passed the retreat, and I actually had met the groundskeeper. He had bought
Mark.
something from us on Facebook Marketplace when they first moved in. So I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know that they did or were planning on doing events there. I saw them building the gates and putting up making it real pretty. And then I saw, I think Swell had posted.
Oh, that we were there.
So I'd reached out. I'm like, this place is right down the road from my house. That'd be cool. I want to go and check it out. And I did. And I met Brandy there again.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah,
so tell us where you're from. Like start from the beginning,
yeah,
right?
like what's your deal?
Like because
are you?
Here's the thing. You're an anomaly, right? So you are that word. So you are a DJ and an artist. And so bringing that together, like how all that started and where it came from and how'd you get here?
So I'm from New York originally. And
where in New York?
Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Long Island.
How did I sound?
Is that how you say it?
It's how I try not to say it.
Oh, how do you supposed to say it? Like if you're
Long Island.
Oh,
there it is. Yeah, you can hear it there.
That was good.
But
you should always say it that way.
I actually, I'm not a huge fan of the Long Island accent. And
No?
Even when I lived there, I always worked on not having it. And now that I'm here and I'm around people that
just start saying y'all.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I don't want to who is it? Madonna that went and I don't want to do that whole thing, but I've never been a huge fan of the Long Island accent, so it comes out every now and then.
I got rid of my Kentucky accent pretty quick when I moved. I was like, they're like, "You're from Kentucky?" Sure I am.
Nice. So you're from Long Island, New York, and you came, and tell us the story.
Yeah, so I was raised in a musical family. My sister is a professional musician in Philadelphia, where she does weddings and events. She has
in Philly.
Yeah, in Philly. Nice. She does.
You love Philly.
I mean, I'm from Philly.
Oh, you're from Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah. She went to Temple University.
So did I.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
37.
Oh, what'd you go to Temple for?
Baseball.
Okay. Well, she's 39, so you guys were probably walking around at the same
probably,
time.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
But I was there for 2 years, and then I transferred out. So
yeah. Okay. So she went there for music, and she stayed. She never moved back. She loves Philly.
I love Philly.
Yeah. And she's not in the city anymore, but she's still in the area. But she's a musician. My brother's a musician. My grandfather is a musician. Like, it's just music is in my family. So I knew growing up that I was going to play music. I always loved it. I started out playing the bass in the school orchestra. I mean, I'm really taking you back to the whole thing, but I was a musician my whole life. And I think in 2006, I was 16. A buddy of mine was like, hey, his brother had worked for this DJ company on Long Island, and they were looking for young kids to go and DJ the Sweet 16s. He's like, I think you'd be good at this. You want to do it? So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do it. I mean, I was in high school. It was a great way to just work on the weekends and make some money.
Sure.
And started doing it. Fell in love with it. Got good at it pretty quickly. And I think my music background helped me with that. Whereas as a DJ, certain songs, if you're bringing them in on an offbeat or on a downbeat, you know, it's like some people have a hard time grasping that, but all that came naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, and I love music, so I knew a lot of music. I grew up around a lot of different music, so I started doing that. I started DJing weddings at like 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had like thrown me right into the fire, and I was going out with some of the other guys.
That's impressive. Could you imagine you're having a wedding, it's your wedding, and you're just like, how?
A child is DJing my wedding.
Like, how could they possibly?
There was always an adult with me, but it was because
don't serve
do
the
you go
DJ.
out by yourself, or do you bring somebody with you? Take care of it all by yourself, correct?
Sometimes it depends on the size of the wedding, you know, the equipment that I'm utilizing and so forth. It just depends.
Okay.
Like smaller weddings, if it's less than 100 guests, it's just me. If there's probably like 125 plus, and depending on the equipment that's needed, I'll have
somebody with you.
But
is it
Reinforcements.
just for equipment, or do you handle all? My question essentially is like, do you handle all the emceeing and the DJing yourself?
So sometimes there'll be two DJs.
Yeah.
So it'll be myself, and I will typically, if it's myself and another DJ, I will MC, and then I will have the other DJ actually running music and sound.
Cool. Okay.
So it just depends. You know, if the couple books that particular package with us, that they want two DJs, one specific MC and one to, like, basically it's like our hype man package in a sense. So we have one running music and then the other person MCing and doing all the other things. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So that's what it was. With the company that I worked for, it was always two people. I mean, not always, I guess, like you said, smaller parties. People didn't want to pay for two people.
Sure.
The one guy. But so I was always with an older guy that was around. So that's how I got into weddings. And then I did that for many years with this company. And they were like, I don't want to say they've grown exponentially. They're opening a branch on the east coast of Florida now.
Okay.
So
what's the name of the company?
Absolute Entertainment.
And they're based out of Long Island?
They're in Long Island. They're in Sayville, New York, Long Island. Yeah.
See, everybody wants what we've got here in Florida.
Yeah, they're coming down this way. I don't, it was funny because I had talked to him too, and I was telling him what I was doing here, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Sarasota, the West Coast, it's all old people." I'm like, "Dude, it's changed completely." I'm like,
Right.
Used
I
to
don't know
be,
when the
and
last time
then-
you were here, but it's. Oh, I don't see any. I see old people, but there's so many young people. Like, it's great here. I love it here. So, anyway, I did that for a while. I was doing a bridal showcase, and I was playing guitar. The guy that owned the company, he used to have me go at the bridal showcases and play guitar. It would draw people to his booth.
Sure.
And I was playing guitar, and I was singing. And this woman comes up to me, and she's like, "Hey, you're really great." And people would always try to give me cards, but I did a lot for this company at the time. I did sales for them. I DJ'd. I played guitar. I did a lot for them. So she hands me the card. She's like, "You ever play with a band?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, but this is I work for this company, and I was always very loyal to them. But she was really persistent, and she kept following up with me afterwards. She had her associate reach out to me. I did air quotes.
Her people.
Yeah, she was like, she had people messaging me on Facebook to pursue me. So I'm like, what's going on with this? So I was telling my buddy about it, and I didn't pay him much attention because I was just happy with where I was and what I was doing. And my buddy started looking him up, and he was like, "Dude, you should probably take this seriously. This is the it company of in the country. They do these celebrity weddings. They do all these high-end weddings." So
Nice.
I went in and I did an interview with them, and they made me an offer, and I left the company that I was with, and I started working for them. And that's when I was introduced to bands at a really high level, because my experience is probably similar to a lot of people. I grew up in an area where people didn't book bands for their weddings. People didn't have the money for bands. Where I lived on Long Island, when I went to weddings, it was just a DJ always. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with DJs, but for a really good high-end band, it's a lot, a lot more expensive than.
Well, what would you say? Price-wise, what would you say?
In New York, it's, for the company that I worked for, minimum $15,000.
Okay. How many piece?
That would be minimum 6 pieces.
6-piece band?
Yeah. And it goes up. I mean, so they have probably 20 to 30 bands.
Wow.
That they have on their roster, and each band has a different minimum. So, some of the newer bands might be like a 6-piece minimum. the bands that are established and have been around for a while, they're 10-piece minimums, and they're upwards of $18,000-$20,000.
Is that because they all work better together in that grouping? Like it just like you need all those parts to make it what it is?
I think that it's when you've been doing it for so long and you've built a name for yourself, you just say, I want to go out with 4 singers and a horn section, and that's how I want to present myself always. As 6 pieces, you have your rhythm section, so you have your guitar, bass, keys, drums, male vocal, female vocal, and it's great. You could do a lot with 6 pieces. Currently, I go out with 6 pieces all the time. Of course, we could go bigger than that, but I go out with a lot of people are like happy with the 6 pieces. They're happy with that price point, and I think it's a great setup, and I think it's totally fine. But of course, I mean, if you add a full brass section and you have 2 additional singers, that's it
gets up there.
It's a different kind of experience, I guess you could say. So there are some of the bands that have just been around for a long time, and that's their minimum. They want to go out with what they want to go out with, and they've reached that point where they could demand that.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I only want blue M&Ms in my dressing room kind of request.
Yeah. So, and you have your range. So you could go with that band, but you're going to pay more for it, or you could go with some of the other bands, which are still amazing, and they're willing to go to 6 or 7 pieces. So, So my experience with bands was always like, I thought bands were like cheesy. I just, I was like DJ
garage
all the way.
band style.
Yeah, I had never seen bands at that
that level, because they're super classy. Like if you look at some of the bands out there, it's just like this. I don't know. It feels different.
Yeah. If it's done right, it's really impressive. My mom was in a wedding band when I was a kid, and it was
like wedding singer.
Yes, yeah, like Adam Sandler style.
Nice,
like 90s wedding band. Yeah. So anyway, I got introduced to this world doing these incredible weddings in Manhattan and the Rainbow Room at the Piero, the Plaza Hotel. And my first wedding ever with this company was at the Plaza. I think they did it on purpose, like just bringing me out there to wow me. I was like, this is incredible. I've
right?
never seen anything like this. And that was it. That was when my experience changed, and I had worked for them for years, and I had learned how to run a band, how to do it properly, what these weddings were like, and how to. It doesn't matter if the wedding is at the Plaza or if it's at a different venue. It doesn't matter what the budget is. It just taught me how to bring my A game always, and how to just be at the bring the entertainment that people are wanting at their weddings, that is going to make not only the guests, the bride and groom happy, but getting messages from, we just got a message from somebody that was on the wait staff at the venue that we worked at. They were like, your band made my night there, and like that to me is cool.
That's big from wait staff, because they see a lot.
Yes, they do.
And they get bored with everything, I feel like.
Yes.
So yeah, even as coordinators, we see a lot of that. Like, it's like we get the same food all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we get something,
do you guys get fed?
We do. We usually do.
Is it part of your contract?
It's not part of my contract. I don't. And there are bands that put it as part of the contract.
They are.
So wait, all right. So let's back up a little bit. So you worked with that band for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then.
Thank you. I should probably talk about what I'm doing here.
Yeah, you say. And how did you get how did you get down to this area, Sarasota?
Yeah. So I was working with this company for a while. It was a great company. I learned so much, and it was really cool. I did a lot of great weddings, but I was burnt out because I was doing sales for them as well. I was working Monday through Thursday in their office, which was in Manhattan. So I was driving from Long Island to Manhattan. 1 to 9 was my shift, and it was never 1 to 9. First of all, I had to leave 10 a.m. just to get to the city.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then even if I ended at 9, I'm still getting home near 11 o'clock, but there was always meetings that went over.
Mm-hmm.
I did auditions for them. I used to audition musicians that would come in. I would take in a lot of, like, when people would reach out through the website, they would get forwarded to me.
Okay.
And I would like kind of check them and see if we wanted to invite them in or not. So I was doing a lot for this company, and I was just burnt out. It's like 7-day-a-week grind, because then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm out with the band, and then on the dates when like maybe people aren't booking the bands, well, guess what? I DJ as well. So, I was always working. I was doing like 130 gigs a year. So
that's insane.
Yeah, it was a lot. And basically, it got to a point. We had our first son. We have 2. My wife is pregnant now, so we're working on number 3.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yay.
There's a lot of people I didn't tell yet, so I'll send them this link.
Here it is.
There you go.
Surprise!
It's only like 7 weeks, so
That'll be the excerpt that you put.
There you go.
yeah. And it just got to the point where like you probably can relate, and both of you can relate to this. You do events where you're just never around for anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're never around. You know, my wife's going to weddings by herself. She's going to family parties by herself. Which, listen, that's the nature of this job, and that's fine. But then to pair it with just a nonstop weekday grind and just never being around, it really sucks, you know? So
It's what you do because you work all week and then DJ on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
why that's why I have a team now.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can divvy them up and
Take some time.
yeah, take some time. And then if the couple specifically want me, they have to pay a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the beauty of doing what you do and running your own business. So
yeah.
that was my like moment of like, you know what, we always wanted to move to Florida. We've talked about it. I didn't think it would happen this soon, but we moved to Florida. I started my business and it's been life-changing because now I work from home.
When did you move to Florida?
2020.
Oh, because you've been here for just about 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was really, so I know.
That was COVID.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
COVID really gave me the opportunity to do it because what happened was obviously all events stopped
Yep.
in New York.
Sort of here. Sort of.
Somewhat.
I mean,
Because COVID was during summer here.
we're Florida rule breakers.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
like we were coming. So when COVID happened, we were
It
coming.
was March.
It was we were kind of getting towards the end of wedding season.
Yeah.
It was the end of March.
Yeah.
We had April, May. I mean, those are still some big months.
I only had, I think I had to postpone 8 weddings.
Yeah, I had a few
between April and May.
postponements, and I think only maybe 3 total cancels
Yeah, there was only a couple cancels.
that I had to refund,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was unfortunate.
So it was
But
like
anyway.
it was still tough here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely
like
tough.
It was like Twilight Zone driving down streets because I worked on a farm at that point for a wedding venue, and I was considered essential. So I was still going to work every single day, but you drive down the road and it was completely empty.
That's how
So-
Manhattan was. It was
That's
wild
crazy.
Yeah, it was
Isn't it?
worse up there.
Yeah.
So when you came down here, what did you like? Did you guys both have jobs, or
No.
did you just like I'm going to try and start this
It was
entertainment
a
Like,
company
it was a
here?
we're
complete
just
leap
going.
of faith. Yeah. I mean, so I decided I was going to leave because I was booked by name on these contracts, right? And people book a year or 2 years out. So there's like kind of no out in this industry, right? It
Right.
takes a long time to get out.
Mhm.
But COVID kind of gave me that. It voided a lot of my contracts. I was laid off. I mean, I was collecting unemployment after having this like great career for so long. And I still honored all my jobs. I flew back to New York for 6 months every weekend while I moved here.
Wow.
Because I knew there were a lot of clients that, met with me because
Wow.
I was in the office meeting with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they met with me personally and were like, we want you to be at the wedding. So
That sounds familiar.
yeah.
I did 32 weddings after I left a venue.
Yeah, you know how it is. I mean,
Uh-huh.
people meet with you and they connect with you, especially at their wedding. I mean, they're gonna freak if
I
you're
didn't
not
have to
there.
fly though. Drove down the road.
It was pretty brutal. I mean, I did it for 6 months, and
Wow.
at first I was like, all right, yeah, no big deal. I mean, I'm just gone for a couple days, but just getting on the plane and just doing that every weekend, it was rough. And I would work like Saturday night until by the time I got into bed at like my brother's house, it was like 3 a.m, and then I would be up at 5 to get a flight back to Florida to be home with
Sheesh.
my family during the week.
So then, how did you start building your name here?
So I came here and I knew I wanted to start my own business, and I did a little bit of work for a company in Miami for a little bit just to
Okay.
kind of supplement the income. Plus I was flying back, but I immediately built the website myself, and I just went for it. I was like, I know I want to do this. I know so much about this industry. I've done it for so long. I knew it was what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for myself. And so I just went for it. And I can't even tell you exactly how it took off the way it did. I mean, I still laugh about it. I'm like, how did that happen that way? I don't know.
Do you remember your first gig?
I think my first official wedding was at the Hyatt Regency in Coconut Point. I don't know if that was. I think that was my first one. I remember the first check I got to know great music.
You're like, yep, that's the first one. You frame it, all that good stuff. Yeah.
My wife saved it. I still have it.
Oh, that's great.
And I cashed it though, but yeah, I still have it.
Copy. Be like, can I have that back? Void the back
now
of
you
it.
just do the mobile deposit.
Yeah.
Keep it. But you know what? I think that it took off the way it did because we brought good quality here, and I like to meet people. I like to talk to people, and I think that, you know, meeting planners and getting into certain venues and having people start to be like, oh, this guy did my wedding and it was great. And then before you know it, I mean, that's how it works.
So Noah Gray Music is the name of your company. So Noah Gray Music is a boutique event company. I'm reading this from your website.
Yeah, go for it.
Is a boutique event company offering high energy dance bands, upscale DJs, live music, hybrids, and more. A truly unique and memorable experience. I mean, that is definitely unique. So, I mean, how many people are on your team? How many DJs do you guys have?
So we have 3 DJs.
Okay.
And we're building our second band right now. Because,
so you have one full band. That's your band.
We have the hybrid thing is. It's a
combination.
I used to think it was different for a while. When I was doing it in New York, it was very different. But I've been seeing a lot more people do what similar to what we do. But we do like because basically what happened in New York is I had this band that I was working with every weekend. But when people wanted the hybrid, people were asking for like, oh, can you bring the sax and like the hand percussion? But I'm like, I got my drummer from my band. I'm going to bring him and he's going to set up a full drum set and we're going to rock it out. I would bring singers sometimes and have them sing along with me as I DJ'd. So it was it was kind of like a band but led by a DJ, you know?
Yeah. Do you find that there are a lot of those options here in this area? Because I don't know that and maybe it's just me, I don't really know of many that are doing what you do.
I don't see like a ton, as far as the hybrid thing, I don't see a ton of people doing it, but I am starting to see specifically the full drum kit. I think that kind of changes things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
they're like, I'll just hire a drummer to hang out with me for a DJ. Yeah.
It's kind of cool, you know. And I've seen a couple of people that are doing that as well.
Okay.
But it's not something super common. It's definitely something that we're.
So are you available to do that hybrid with other DJ companies? Like, so say Tim's already booked and they're like, well, we would love some live music like during cocktail or for the ceremony. You're good with that kind of hybrid too?
Yeah, I'm happy to. What do you mean, like collabing with other companies? I'm happy to collab with other companies for sure. I've spoken to some. I'm a big believer. So New York was very cutthroat, right? Like it was brutal. I mean,
can imagine.
Yeah, people were not. They didn't want to cross. Like I always hated that, and I really like the culture here in Florida where we could come sit down and you know just be friends and help each other out. Yeah. And to me, I want to make those relationships. If I'm booked up, I want to know Tim, and I want to be like, give Tim a call. He's got great crew and he's going to take care of you, you know, because I don't have 20 DJs. I have 3 DJs and I have 1 band. So when we're booked up,
I'm just curious. Like, I mean, there's a couple of entertainment companies in the Tampa area, and they have like 30 DJs. And I'm just curious how in the hell how do they get booked?
How do they pay their bills? Like as a DJ, right? Because how do you book out 30 DJs?
Right. I mean, how do you have 30 DJs?
I don't understand.
I mean, I guess
how do you
Tampa
even mentally
is
manage that.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure you have a full team for that, but I mean, Tampa is a much bigger market. Granted, technically, Sarasota, Bradenton, we are part of the Tampa market, but I personally want to stay like hyper local to Sarasota, Manatee County. Yeah. I will travel to Fort Myers. I will travel to Tampa, but I mean, I personally don't feel like I can compete to the Tampa the entertainment companies up there because a lot of them are a lot cheaper
because they have so many.
Right. That's surprising to hear too, right? Like I mean,
you have boutique entertainment companies. I would consider my company somewhat boutique, I guess.
I would consider
then you've got
both of you, that way. And
then like Tampa Bay DJ company with Corey.
Yeah, he's boutique.
He's boutique. I mean, he's got 6 or 7 DJs. I have like 4 wedding DJs and probably like 2 to 3 like bar club DJs.
But plus Carl, is that including
Carlos?
Carlos?
No, that's And then I have Carlos in Maryland, and we're like I just expanded to the DMV region in Washington D.C.
That's cool.
Maryland and Northern Virginia. So,
do you have any what brought you there?
Carlos. So
Carlos moved.
So Carlos is one of my DJs. He moved down from DC down here during COVID because of he works for he's an electrician, and his company brought him down here, and he was like, hey, on one of the DJ Facebooks, he was like, hey, is any multi-ops hiring? I'm like, yes, and he was amazing.
Language,
bilingual.
Like somebody like that falls into
your
lap.
I mean, I was so lucky, and he and I just clicked. Had such a great rapport. He was awesome to work with. He and I often worked weddings together.
He was a vibe, but you wouldn't be able to tell it because he's
very chill.
He is very extrovert chill, but
he's very introvert.
Introvert chill. Yeah, he's very introvert. Dude would just be back there just vibing. It's like a shell of glasses around him. He just goes. And you could be standing next to him and be like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
It's like I've been standing here for 5 minutes watching you.
So then I want to say a few months ago, actually towards the end of 22, he came to me and was like, hey man, my company is moving me back to DC, unfortunately. I'm like, no. And so I want to say May is when he had his last event with me in May. Yeah. And then he moved in May 26th back to DC. And I was like, man, I'm really going to miss you. And he's like, yeah, me too. I love working with you. I love everything how you make things so easy for me as a DJ going out. And I was like, well, shoot, why don't we just partner up?
Right.
If you're going to be in DC, you're still going to be DJing. I mean, I know you're going to be working with other companies. That's fine. But until we start, ramping up, I think I have like 4 or 5 events scheduled with him.
And that just awesome. It's only been like a month or 2 that you've been promoting that.
I mean, since May. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're
that's
in
really
July.
Good.
So
6 weeks.
I mean, it's tough. I'm still trying to, research to venues because I was doing a lot of Google ads, which I don't see working.
Facebook ads actually work better.
I'm having issues with Facebook right now.
Okay.
Or else I'd be doing those. But yeah, Google ads not working so well, but I do want to get in with actual venues and, kind of
maybe do a venue tour one weekend and just hit a whole bunch of venues in the DMV area.
I'm working on, and I'm just telling, I'm asking Carlos, obviously when he goes to these venues, he's working for another company. But he really wants to kind of stray away from them and just work with me up there and kind of like it's an extension. So it's kind of his baby, but I'm kind of helping him run it in a sense.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, I've got him set up with business cards and everything. So I'm trying to utilize him to get out to the venues and talk to everybody because he's going to be the face up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Booking them, having those events there is such a great foot in the door. I had a guy at the company that I used to work for all the time. He was just a sales guy. And he was a great sales guy. He was actually a partner in the company, but he didn't do it. He wasn't a musician. He just got into it through sales. And he would always be like, dude, you have the advantage that I have to work my way into these venues. He's like, you're there every weekend. He's like, don't go to a venue without knowing.
But see, the thing is, my morals kick in where all right, so he's going to these venues and he's working with another company.
Oh.
So when he goes in,
I missed that. Okay,
yeah. So he's working with other companies up there right now. So he's working with, I think, two different companies, and he's wanting to stray away from them.
Yeah.
But right now, he's still, he wants to get bookings and stay busy. So he's working with these venues, and I can't, if they were to ask him for, business cards, he's going to have to give them business cards from that particular company. But after the fact, you can always go to them hey, just so you know, I'm opening up, or I've started my own kind of business. Here's my information. Would love to work with you guys aside from those companies.
Yeah.
But
you said you have 4 or 5 booked with him.
Events,
for you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
sometimes
that's all it takes.
Yeah. So it's going to be a slow process. I get it.
Yeah.
I started advertising on Wedding Wire, which
he feels like he sold his soul to the devil.
I'd love to hear what your take on this.
He absolutely hates it.
I hate Wedding Wire.
You do too?
All right, so listen.
Every
I don't anymore.
Every entertainment company, pretty much.
Okay, as a venue, I didn't hate them. It
I feel
really
like venues,
worked. Like, but you had to work it.
right?
But it's like $1,800 a month.
Yeah. Well,
it is
at least.
astronomical.
The issues that I'm seeing right
Sign
now.
me up for your package.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
Right? That was
You
at
know
the
what they do?
Bishop.
If you're a DJ, they know that you're charging X amount as a DJ, so your package is this amount of money. But if you're a band and you want to be marketed to the band, they know you're charging so much more.
Is that why they asked me what my fees and stuff are for the venue? So then that's how they price me out. Because she would never send me like a breakdown. There's no one set price for anybody. It's whatever they like. Oh, let's just figure this out, and then there's your total.
Yeah, but see, all right. So my issue with Wedding Wire is like I know I need to. The cool thing in this case is they gave me a deal, quote unquote, a deal to be positioned in the DMV region and in Tampa.
Okay, yeah.
So I was happy with that. I really just wanted to be in DMV, but since, whatever. So I was able to get that deal taken care of. However, I get quite a few leads and I'll respond, but I don't ever get a response back.
So
that's a lot of them. Yeah.
That's the issue.
You want to know? Here's the trick. You have to email them at least 7 times. You should know
Like
this.
once
You have
every
a
day?
marketing degree. No.
Call and email.
It's the first.
See, the
Once a
phone
week.
calls,
And then
the phone calls
and
is...
then, yeah, so it's one call, it's one email, and then your second email could be a video 2 weeks later. So you do like a 1 week, 2 week, 4 week, 6 week, 2 month.
Now, do you have these emails and everything like set up already?
Automated, ready to go.
Yeah.
So
And you send them something different every time.
I need you to help me with that.
I agree
gotcha.
with her, and this was something that I learned from that company. I had some real savage, like New York, like cutthroat salespeople, and I gotta say, and every once in a while they would get the person there, but can you stop calling me? And, okay, bye. Mark, the lead is dead. But we had this system where every salesperson was assigned X amount of leads, and that's what we did in the office. We sat there and we called our leads. We went through our lead book, and we did it. We called and emailed once a week, and we didn't stop until it was
95% of sales happen after the 7th touch.
Yeah.
Statistically.
I mean,
you're not wrong. I have had the experience with that because I used to get embarrassed. Like, I'm calling this person so much, and then after working there for so long and realizing, like, you know what? How many people would pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, thanks so much for following up so many times." Like, we've been so scattered. We've been doing this, and I'm like, if I was afraid to call them and I only called them twice, I would have marked the lead as dead. I would have lost their number and I would never call them again. But because I called 8 times, that just turned into a booking for me.
Yeah.
And then you know how it works from there. That booking and it really. That was something that I learned that I applied to, and it's just being really aggressive.
Yeah.
And some people are going to get annoyed at you, but it's like,
and it's
You're never
friendly
gonna see them,
aggressive,
so-
right? Like, and it's
sorry for doing my job efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and there's like text
you reached
systems
out to
out
me.
there too that you can text them a link that says, "Hey, check out our whatever." So there's different ways of contacting them too that may be suitable for some that's not for others. But at the end of the day, they just submitted that lead. You know how many people are emailing them? You know how many people stop emailing them after the first couple times? It's those that continue that end up being the ones that get booked because they're still on the frontal lobe when they're like, okay, now it's time for us to book entertainment. And you've emailed them recently. They're like, oh, yeah, I wanted to make sure I knew that company.
Well, and I did see this. One couple did reply after I had sent them a bunch of emails. And we were actually going back and forth. And then I saw they said, sorry, I don't check this very often.
Yes, it also happens to that too. So whether they go into their Wedding Wire, because you can go into your Wedding Wire portal and check your messages, or they get sent to your personal email, so they get lost. So sometimes when they go into their portal, like, oh, they sometimes don't even know they have that because they put in their real email address and they don't think everything's housed also on Wedding Wire, but it is.
Yeah,
and it also houses who they've contacted too.
Yeah. So the other issue that I'm having is, we'll get leads. And because I'm in Tampa and the DMV region, unless they have the venue, which they don't always have their venue marked on, their inquiry, I have no idea if it's for Tampa or if it's for Washington, D.C. So
they
therefore,
don't put their phone. Oh,
there's gotta be
even if they
somebody
do
from
a phone
Wedding
number.
Wire that you
so I mean, there's probably something.
I did reach out to Wedding Wire. I'm like, hey, is there a way
They should
that...
be able to give you 2 separate accounts. Like,
Nope.
oh,
Nope.
Well,
believe me,
I had
I've
2 separate because it was 2 types of different venues, like type of venue based on, but that might be like your first question that you send them, like a little questionnaire that says, where are you located?
Well, I usually follow up like, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. Now, obviously, there are times where I'm able to see, oh, Powell Crosley or you know, Mixon's or Washington, D.C. Yeah, I mean, yeah, phone numbers I can definitely see, but yeah, that's something else. But
I'll work with it with
all right,
you.
that works. But it's a process. So anyway, we digress.
So
back to
Wedding Wire. Yeah.
Well, I had a hateful relationship with Wedding Wire at first too, because the company that I worked for, I used to never see leads from Wedding. Like all of our leads came from referrals, venue referrals, and planners, and through the website. So when I first started my business, I'm like, I'm not doing the Wedding Wire and the Knot. They just got like a total like stranglehold on the industry, and I'm like, you know, forget these guys. I don't want to do it. So I called, got a quote, and I was like, wow, that's like not what I expected. So I was like, no thanks. So then they had my info, and they did what we were just. They would call me constantly.
Oh yeah.
Follow up.
I got hit so many times after I called them recently.
Yeah, and every time I would put them through it. Every time I'd be like, well, so what's the, you know, and I'd really try to like negotiate the price with them, and no, I'm not interested. I'm like, honestly, I don't know if it's worth it. Like I know it could pay for itself with just a couple of bookings, but like I do a lot of business through planners and through venues, you know. I'm like, I don't know if I really need you guys. I don't even know if I have the size team that can handle even more, you know, which is not true. I mean, I definitely could handle more, but
you're talking to a salesperson.
Yeah. So
that's always the best kind of conversation when a salesperson is trying to get somebody to buy something and they're a salesperson. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go back and forth, and it was like months and months. And eventually what happened is that I realized that it didn't look great for me to not be on those sites, because people would they wanted to see
That's
reviews.
Where they go.
And eventually I'm like, I have to get on there.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget the one woman, because sometimes it was a different woman that would call me, and this girl, I'm like, you're going to get it today. I'm like, you got to do this. She had called, she had got me a discount, and I'm like, and I really pushed, and I got like a year at like a crazy discount, but by the end of this year, it's going to be up.
Triple.
Yeah, exactly. But I eventually bit the bullet and I did it. But I will say, and I hate to admit it, but it's paid for itself for sure.
Good for you.
It hasn't?
No.
Not yet. He just needs a little help.
Maybe that I don't know what I'm doing wrong, to be honest. I'm getting leads.
I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think it's
every time somebody reaches out, like I will respond to them immediately. And I will send them emails. Like I will send them like a separate email, like not through Wedding Wire. I'll send them an actual email with our pricing and package information. I will go back to Wedding Wire and say, hey, I've sent you the pricing information to your email. Would love to set up a phone call. In that email, would love to send you a phone call. I have videos in there of everything. But nobody ever responds. It's like, and
how far out is the lead coming in versus the wedding date? That also makes a difference.
I mean, so far it's been like a year. Some of them are a little bit longer, like a year and a half to 2. But
we'll get you on an email like regimen so that you don't have to.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yes, please.
Personally, I do not. The first contact I make with them is I do not give them pricing. They always ask for it, but
I don't ever get a phone call, or I'm sorry, I don't ever get a response.
Okay, so you haven't heard from me yet, but you're sending them pricing, right?
So I'll send them. In my initial response, they'll here I'll bring.
Well, of course, they'll always say, "Yeah, send me packages, send me pricing."
Well, no. So every
so you're saying send them a video teaser?
I don't even do that. I want to talk to them first. I don't say. I say, listen, we offer a wide range of services here, and I have no idea what you're looking for. I want to make it personal to you. So like, let's set up a phone call and let's chat, and then I could give you some accurate pricing.
Every single inquiry I get is always because you can. They already have like on the back end for couples.
Yeah.
Like they have already made out
pre-written
emails that you can just send to the vendors.
Yes, I never.
And I always we're getting not for us. I'm talking from the couples.
From the couples, yes.
So we're getting married on such and such date. TLS Entertainment looks like it might be a great fit for our wedding. Could you share some information about your services and packages available? I will respond, hey, so and so. Congrats on your engagement. So glad that you've given us the opportunity. I would love to set up a phone call to chat with you more. when is a good time? Here's my cell phone. Or when is a good time? Or feel free to just give me a call whenever you're ready and available. And I give them my cell phone.
I would add to that, give them 2 days and 2 times. Because then you're like, I have this day at this time and this day at this time. Which one looks better for you?
That's good. Yeah.
Because if you say, I have open schedule, they're like, oh. A whole it combobulates anybody's brain, and that I learned in my Mary Kay. Like
I still get I 95% of the time I get 0 response from any of them.
Well, we're gonna work on that.
But that's kind of how I respond too.
Yeah,
I just feel like if you send, because I'm hanging, like I want to go golfing with you, man. Like I like you already, so like if you get them on the phone. What is more important than liking your DJ? I mean, there's
of course, if you build that rapport,
that's a personal,
So once you get people on the phone, you're able to talk to them and let them hear like what you're all about and hear how great you are and how well spoken you are. And all those things.
Once I get them on the phone, it's game over. I know, like, all right, if I can get you on the phone, that's great.
But sometimes if they might see, because I've had people say like, over budget, but then like we start to talk and then they move things around. So sometimes that pricing, like I noticed that, and that's why I don't do it. It's like sometimes the pricing will really throw somebody off, and then they're, it's hard to get in touch with because they just automatically assume like it's out of my budget. You know, when it might have only been $500 out of their budget.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, that's my issue that I'm having with Wedding Wire right now. But you seem to be having.
It's been.
Y'all should go golfing.
Yeah,
we should. We'll talk more.
I lose a lot more balls than that, but yeah.
I'll drive the cart.
There you go. You can be our cart girl. Yeah. Bring the drinks.
At least for this year, it's been it's paid for itself. For this year.
When did you start?
I think at the beginning, because I held off my first 2 years of business. I didn't do it, and then I think this was my first year. I have to look. I have to check. My wife.
Because I've been doing it. I think this is month 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's still fresh.
Oh, it's still fresh, but I'm
fresh.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's gonna pay for itself.
Yeah.
I have lulls too. Keep in mind. So I have lulls where I don't hear from wedding.
Oh yeah.
I laugh with my wife all the time. I'm like, I haven't heard from anybody in Wedding Wire or The Knot in a while, and then all of a sudden it'll be like boom, 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 boom,
right?
And I'll start getting a bunch of them.
Are you a feature? Are you a pro? Or are you a highlight? Or there's a highlight, feature, and then pro.
I think I'm feature.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I didn't want to do like the top 2 spots. I was like, whatever. As long as I'm on the first page,
it's like $10,000 a month.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Stupid.
Well, I signed the retreat Sarasota up for Here Comes the Guide. It is 10% of what I would have paid at Wedding Wire, and it's a good way for us to kind of get our foot in the door and start getting the low-hanging fruit.
Do people actually go to that?
Yeah, it's really, really good. And so I've used it before. Yeah, and so it's just our way of getting some wedding leads rather than none, other than organic, because everything I'm doing is coming organically. Like it's through Facebook, it's through Instagram, it's by word of mouth. There is no paid advertising at all. So like our Google Analytics look really good, our metadata looks really good, but it's all organic. But I need like some of that low hanging fruit weddings to come through just so I can work them. But we started Here Comes the Guide, and I think it's like, I don't know, like $125 a month.
Jeez, yeah.
So we'll see what happens just in the starting stages.
Yeah.
So before we go, we have a special treat. Josh is going to sing.
Oh, I was like, what's the treat?
You're it.
I forgot.
Did you bring your DJ equipment too, so you can DJ and? Well, how long? Well, before you start singing, how long have you been DJing for?
So I've been DJing. I started DJing when I was 16.
Oh, 16. That's right.
Oh, wow.
His
Okay.
first wedding.
That's right.
And like for
like 10 years.
Yeah, you've got.
Thanks, Brandy.
We got to keep it together when we're,
I started, and I say this to some people, and they're like, dude, I was on records. I used to bring crates, but like, I had the boxes, boxes of CDs, and,
So you had vinyl?
Not vinyls, no. That's what I'm saying. I had the box of CDs, so it was like somebody requested, or you want a song, and you're like thumbing through it. But you eventually know where everything is.
Did you have them in like the paper sleeves so you could get through them faster?
Yeah, you have to have them in the paper sleeves.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
paper sleeves.
I was not DJing at that point.
Yeah, no, I
had books of paper sleeves. I had things in my car, like these little long running things, and you'd have all the.
Oh yeah.
Do you see? Are you DJing more, or are you in the band? Like,
I would say I'm booking more DJ stuff than bands, but I'm starting to see a little shift. Like a lot of band stuff is starting to come through now. I don't know if that's because our jobs have played out and people are, they've been referrals mostly. A couple here and there on Wedding Wire and they're not. But the DJs for me, price point wise, it's easier. I was joking with my wife the other day, like I will talk to a bride and groom. I know they like me. I know they like the band. They said they liked it. I know that they're wanting to book it, but it's a lot of money, so it's hard to pull the trigger for them. And there's a lot of back and forth of, can we just set up another phone call? We want to ask you some other questions.
Sure.
Whereas, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen with some DJ clients, it does, but a lot more DJ clients I'll have one call with, and I'll, send them video or whatever I send them. And then later that night, they'll be like, hey, can you send a contract? And then I'll send the contract. And then like half an hour after I send the contract, it's signed and the deposit is paid.
Yeah.
Where that doesn't happen as often with the bands. It's a little more like,
because it's a bigger price point into the budget. Yeah.
So I find that it's easier for me to book the DJs, and there's a lot. I do get I get a decent amount of both, but I would say I get more DJs. Yeah.
Okay.
And
y'all need to book his band.
Yeah, we love
solid.
I love doing both. I do, but I think my vision is for my future is to have a solid team of a couple of DJs and really push the one or two bands. I don't really want to have 20 bands. I don't.
Yeah.
To me, if I could build 2-3 bands and
Sure.
have a couple of great DJs that, I know everybody's, I have 3 DJs and 3 bands and everybody's going out and kicking ass and doing a great job. That feels good
Heck
as opposed to trying to manage
30
different weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Not
that's
trying to do
insane.
Yeah. So,
How did you, so Noah Gray Music, and what's the name of the band?
the Josh Grayson Band.
Josh Grayson Band. Okay.
That just came because that was the band in New York, and I thought it would just be easier to keep it the same
Yeah.
because
No,
we had
that's fair.
some. Yeah.
All right. And how do people get in touch with you?
Well, they could go to www.noahgraymusic.com.
Noah
Gray with an E.
Yeah,
Gray with an E.
Thank you, Brandy.
NoahGrayMusic.com.
And
Socials.
then our socials are Noah Gray Music, so we're on
Okay.
Instagram. I'm working on that. Do you guys do you do your own socials, or do you hire
I
people
do.
to do it? You do?
He does great stuff on social media.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do you have TikTok?
No.
Oh. I feel like we're gonna have to have like a
Social media.
day out.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
We got some things to talk about.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to get any I'm struggling with okay, so I'm playing guitar, I'm singing, I'm leading the band because we don't pre-plan our set list, right? So as you do as a DJ, right? So a lot of bands will write it up. Like here's our set list for tonight.
Oh, you
DJ
don't?
never does that. I mean,
No.
the DJ
a
might
DJ
have
doesn't.
a DJ might have an
Well,
idea.
you'll have
Kinda.
requests and you'll have those laid out.
You
And
have
be like, all right.
genres for certain periods.
Yeah, and you might have little chunks of blocks of songs that mix really well together, and it just you're going to do it. But you're never. I could assume that most DJs are never being like, okay, 6 o'clock the party starts. I'm going to open with this, and I'm going to go. You have an idea of where you're going to go and what works at certain points in the night. A lot of bands will write up a set list, but from my DJ background, I don't do that. So the band knows enough music; they have no idea what we're gonna play next. So
Okay.
I have my microphone that I sing into that the crowd hears, and then I have a talkback microphone
Yes.
that only the band can hear me on in the in-ears. And I just call the music and it's so many times it's saved us where I thought to myself, man, if I had a preset set list and I just stuck to it, this would have not gone as well as there's times when I think something's going to happen and I'm like, you know what? I need to change it up. That as a DJ and being able to do that as a band, excuse me, being able to do that as a band is a game changer. If you pre-plan this set list and you just stick to it, not every wedding is going to go how you think it's going to go. So you really have to be able to.
I think a
improvise.
lot of bands just do a set list and they just play it.
Yeah.
They
And
just
I
know
always
exactly
have to
what's going.
there have been times where, they hire a DJ as well. And so I have to make sure okay, what songs are they playing so I don't play them as well?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, true.
And I'll point out one more thing about our band that I think makes us extremely unique is that because I am a DJ, I DJ with the band sometimes.
I was going to ask that. How does do you, so they book the Josh Grayson band. And then do you sometimes just I'm going to bring my,
I will
my
only,
equipment
okay. So I always bring it. What I do with it is, let's say, because I hear this feedback all the time, and mostly agree that people are like, oh, what if I want like Calvin Harris or some Kygo or some like EDM? Most bands are not going to do justice to that stuff. But I will have the band play, which we sound great anyway, but then I'm mixing in with the band I have like tracks with stems on them, and so it's not the full track. So the band is really there, but I'm kind of supplementing the band with the sounds that you need to hear, because Kygo's layering 20 synths. It's impossible as a 6-piece band to recreate that and make it sound well. Excuse me. So I'm mixing in with the band. So if somebody wants to hear Steve Aoki or something like that, we can do it as a band. And I think that's
really cool.
Yeah, people don't expect that, but
that's I mean, that's definitely
that's unique.
And I'm assuming that nobody puts you in a corner.
I've been in a few corners. Yeah.
As a band, though.
As a band,
really?
I've been packed in some tight spaces. We were just in.
We're shocked right now.
Yeah.
So I was just in a corner recently.
As a band.
How many pieces?
It was a great wedding. Amazing couple. We had
was
a blast
the planner?
with them. I don't think there was a planner. Was that Bella
Cosina?
Oh, Bella
Cosina in Lake Wales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
That's
a
gorgeous,
like a mansion
Tuscan
type
looking.
deal.
Yeah.
There's really no good spot there.
They put us in the corner, and we were a 6-piece band.
Were you inside or out?
We were inside.
And like
So when you walk through the double doors into the ballroom, we were on the left in the corner. And like to the point where my drummer, they have the doors and there's like I don't know how to describe it, like a little mound to walk out to the door, like a cement, it rises up. And the drummer was like it was a tough setup, but we did it. And we,
that's what we do. We adjust and we conquer and we kill it.
Would y'all stop putting bands and DJs in corners?
Well, that was the one thing that I have asked wedding planners, and I was like, you have no problem putting a DJ in a corner, and it drives me insane because I've like in a ballroom, you've got the dance floor, and then let's just say on the north side, you've got the head table. On the east and west sides, you have the tables surrounding the dance floor. On the south side, it's wide open. Ideally, that's where the DJ or band would go. But I've been placed in a corner, and I've had the bar go right in the center of the dance floor. I've also had a charcuterie board go right in.
That was the best one. He sent me a picture. He was off to the left,
and there
behind
were
a column,
columns,
and the charcuterie board is like
front and center. I'm like,
it's not even that big. It was like maybe a 4-foot table.
Oh, so upset.
But it would have otherwise been adequate, perfect sound.
Yeah.
And now it's challenging.
Yeah, but I've always I've asked people would you put a band in a corner? And they're like, well, no. I was like, then why would you put a DJ?
They're lying, Tim.
DJ
they put us
in a corner.
They do.
Drives me insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh, I appreciate you coming on with us.
Thanks,
I've actually learned so much.
Right?
Welcome to Sarasota in Florida.
Really love it here. Yeah.
We're gonna have to get together. We'll have to play some golf soon.
Let's do it, man. Yeah.
Because I always, I love, chatting up with other DJs. Like, I don't know if you've met like Jamal from Jam All Day.
I haven't yet. I've met a couple of guys out here. Most recently, so I just did a WeWed conference, which was pretty cool. I got to meet a couple of guys there. Met Malik from Curate.
Okay, yeah.
But he's like more Fort Myers based. I haven't met a ton of like Sarasota.
Where are you doing a lot of weddings or events right now?
So we're preferred at the Ritz-Carlton. And
how's that load in?
It's not great. Yeah.
How did you get on that preferred list?
Just doing weddings there. I had a couple. Again, there's like lucky things that fell into place. Like I got booked, and they happened to be at the Ritz-Carlton, and I went there a couple times, and I went and made sure every time I was in there, I like knew who was running the event and talked to them and got cards and followed up and sent things, and eventually it just popped. It worked. But yeah, I've been at the Longboat Key Club. So I'm doing a lot here in Sarasota, but I get a lot of. So I have I just booked 5 weddings at the Don Cesar in St. Pete.
Oh yeah.
Booked the band there. I'm doing I'm getting Tampa. I'm getting St. Pete, and I'm even getting some Fort Myers, some Naples. I have one booked in Miami in November, which is weird and rare. But I will go wherever in Florida. I mean, but I would prefer. Like you were saying,
right, to stay local.
I would really like to
sleep
stay
in your own bed at night.
Yeah, I think from Tampa to kind of that Fort Myers, Venice kind of area is where I would feel most comfortable being. You know, those are the easiest. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Josh Borum, correct?
Yeah.
Josh
That's
Borum.
my official name.
That's the official name with Noah Gray Music. Y'all go check him out. It is noahgraymusic.com.
Yes, sir.
And you can find him on the socials, Noah Gray Music.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram.
With an E.
Noah
Gray with an E.
Noah Gray. So NOAHGREY music.com. And Facebook, Instagram. Not on the TikTok.
Not
That's
yet.
okay though.
It's okay. We're gonna put him on the TikTok. He's gonna send us out with a little tune on the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
About that.
Yeah.
The best fun part.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, it's all been great. I didn't think whatever.
Of the song.
I want to hear "Better" by Khalid.
Ah.
Can you play that?
I've never tried it, but I could play most things.
I like some Brett. I'm a big country music fan. I like Brett Young.
I do.
Let me move out of the way.
Oh, I gotta tune it real quick. I'm sorry.
Watch the magic in action. I love how the ear just knows, right?
There are tricks to the trade, Brandy.
Yeah,
there are tricks to the trade.
Tricks.
Well, you get set up. I actually I studied music in high school.
Yeah.
I played the trumpet.
Oh, that is right.
And I was actually thinking of, since, Timmy Trumpet's such a big deal.
You should learn that.
I've learned a couple of his, what's the one? Narco is a big one. And I was thinking of like busting out my trumpet at one of them and playing along.
You still have it?
I have 2 trumpets. I still got them. Yeah.
From high school?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna do a country for you, Tim, and I'm gonna make it wedding theme. But I gotta pull up a lyric just to make sure. I don't want to mess
He's
it up.
giving you
I'm not gonna
country.
do the whole song, but I'll do.
You'll play us out into
Yes.
to the end of this. Again, this is the Scoop Weddings Unveiled. This is podcast, what, 26? 26.
Half a year.
This could be an issue if I play a song on Spotify.
No.
Like,
You're just singing.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's all good.
Let's do it.
All right.
And so I have a funny story about when this song first came out. I was playing a gig and a kid came up to me and they were like, "Can you play Better Together?"
Oh yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah."
But which one did you play? By Jack Johnson.
Yeah, and the kid was just looking at me like, "What the heck is this? This is not what I asked
and he was like, "No, by Luke Combs."
Yeah.
So I have a story. While you're getting that up, I had a first dance. It was at a country venue, and they said "Better Together." I had it written down, Luke Combs and everything, and I put everything down. And I create all my folders ahead of time. And so first dance, "Better Together," play it. It's "Better Together," Jack Johnson. I'm like, oh, this just does not feel like it doesn't fit the theme of their wedding. And I start playing, and I'm like confident as hell, like pressed it. I'm sitting back, and all of a sudden I have like the wedding planner waving at me, and they're like, "This isn't the right song." And I see the couple looking at me like confused, and they're like this. I was like, "Oh my god!" I look at my timeline, and it says "Better Together," Luke Combs, and I immediately went on my phone. Luckily, I had like a cord.
Yeah.
Put in "Better Together" by Luke Combs on my phone. Fade out. I was like, all right, that was just a test. We're going to go straight into our first dance for the real "Better Together." Your first dance as husband and wife. And I played it, and everything was fine. But
wanted to hide behind the
oh
DJ.
my god.
Yeah, that's a tough. And when I had that happen a couple of times when I was, and it's easy to make mistakes like that sometimes. I mean, we're as thorough as we can be, and
yes,
they don't happen often, but like it can happen.
We are human.
Yeah. But when I was DJing on CDs, that's because like you were able to very quickly improvise and be ready for that. But like you're on a CD, you're like
you're screwed.
Okay, hold on, find the right song. I mean, it's a nightmare. Yeah.
But it's all about how you recover from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Take us away.
Can I borrow your mic for the guitar?
Oh yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right. My voice is a little scratchy today, but I'm not gonna make excuses. It just is what it is. So. A 40 HP Johnson on a flat bottom metal bowl. A Coke cans and BB guns, barbed wire and no fence posts, and 8 bucks in autumn, and freshly cut cornfields, one arm out the window and one hand on the wheel. Some things just go better together, and probably always will, like a cup of coffee and a sunrise, someday dries and time to kill. What's the point of this old guitar if it ain't got no strings? Pouring your heart into a song that you ain't gonna sing. It's a match made up in heaven, like good old boys and beer and me, as long as you're right here.
Woo! Holy cow.
Thank you,
that was amazing, y'all.
Microphone back. Oh my gosh.
He's hired.
Like all the chills over here. I'm fangirling. Like straight up.
I appreciate you
Woo!
guys.
Josh Borum,
All the
Noah
feels.
Gray, music.
Great music.
Yes.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. Yeah, it's really
yeah,
great.
we're going to get together for golf.
Awesome.
I'll drive the cart.
Podcast 26 completed. This is the Scoop Weddings Unveiled. I am DJ Tim with TLS Entertainment, your premier DJ. We've got Brandy Harlan, your non-retired wedding planner, and of course, again, Josh Borum with Noah Gray Music. That's going to do it for us.
Thank you.
Peace and chicken grease.